Attitudes. Our attitudes inform our actions. The way we think affects what we do. One prominent view in Western culture is that nature is a thing, an object with utilitarian value to be bought and to be sold. With this consumerist focus, we may consider the empty field, the lake, or the mountaintop to be a property, a storehouse of resources, or a challenging landscape to conquer or control. Another view offers a radical alternative, that nature has intrinsic value in and of itself. We can experience the world around us as an organic, living thing. It is not object, but subject. It has interiority, subjectivity. It has something to teach us. It inspires respect. When we have this attitude, the natural world can evoke awe and astonishment, stimulating connection to the sacred, integrative forces of life. The same attitudinal values are prevalent about the body. One prominent view, perpetuated by our educational and mental habits, is that body is an object, a machine to be repaired when it breaks down. It is our property to do with as we please. It is a resource to get us from here to there, a commodity to help us get what we want, a storehouse of resources, a challenge to control, to conquer, or overcome. The radical alternative in body attitude would be that the body has intrinsic value in itself. It has interiority, subjectivity. It has much to teach us if we learn to listen. We can consider that we are part of a vast interconnected system rather than separate from the world around us. We are nature too. As we recognize our interconnections with the rest of the earth, we begin to see the world from a relational perspective, supported by our context rather than in isolation or at odds with it. We experience the air, the water, the soil, the animals, the people around us, and our own bodies as familiar. In this view, both body and earth are home. Underlying the environmental crisis of attitude, we are coming to the end of our non-renewable resources, such as fossil fuels. We are also coming to the end of renewable resources, such as clean water, clean air, and healthy soil. This is true of the body as well. We can no longer count on resiliency in our structure. Our bodies are too busy recovering, attempting to filter internal as well as external toxins. Yet we can consciously cleanse our systems and balance our energy just as we can protect the resources around us. Our attitudes towards our bodies have everything to do with the health of the earth. As we open our senses and attend to the earth, we encounter grief. Emotional memory is encoded since childhood, associated with specific terrain, the beach explored on family vacations, the tree climbed in moments of retreat, or the room where a child was born. All too frequently, loved ones are gone, places paved over, in reality or in our hearts. Earth systems, too, are dying. Forests, songbirds, and the air in our lungs are in trouble. Grief is a natural response to loss. Engaging our grief requires softening our guard. The process includes several essential stages: acknowledging our denial, allowing emotion, accepting death as part of life, and expressive through creative forming, giving voice to the forceful feelings that occur. Our attitudes towards our grief affect our ability to feed and act. Environmental studies is one of the fastest growing majors at universities across the country. Alternative healthcare is a growing force that challenges traditional medical practice to include a holistic view of the body. Books, magazines, and art reflect environmental perspectives and healthful incentives. There is no discipline, institution, or individual exempt from the environmental concern and responsibility. As we become aware of our underlying attitudes towards our bodies and towards the places we call home, we experience the dynamics of living in an interconnected life. Any integrative experience is a spiritual experience. Humanist John Dewey reminds us, one component of the mystical or spiritual involvement that underlies ecological concerns is the feeling of being an integrated part of the whole planet. Aesthetic experience nurtures this sensibility in people. Thus, the arts have an essential role to play in encouraging us to face the unprecedented challenges of our time. Our attitudes can be affected by information, inspiration, or direct experience. We can learn how a lake is polluted by reading the newspaper, seeing a painting, or finding a dying loon on the shore. Each instance connects person to place in a moment of alertness. As we envision life, we create it. As we think, we do. Experiencing ourselves as participants, we foster attitudes in ourselves and in our communities that allow a lively and respectful dialogue between body and earth.